This HAN Network video is brought to you by Carl Chevrolet.
We talk to a lot of unique athletes, a lot of unique sports all throughout the FCAC. I'm Rob Adams on the HAN Network. This is the first time we are going to talk with a sailing team. We are at Darien High School, and this is indeed the Blue Wave sailing team. We're going to let each one of them introduce themselves, and then we'll talk about it. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Sarah Beringer.
I'm Will Crane.
And I'm Chris Graves.
All right, Sarah, explain to me the sport of competitive sailing. I mean, how is it more than just a race? How do you sail competitively?
Well, for the high school, we do team racing, which is kind of like a point system. So you want the least amount of points. So like first place, it all adds up. So it's like first place is 1, second place is 2, and you obviously want to do well and get first. So it's whoever has the least amount of points. And there's marks set up, so you kind
of try to hit your mark, or not hit it literally, but yeah, certainly. And you're going to go to Santa Clara University. Congratulations on that. What made you want to go there?
Being on the West Coast I've always wanted to kind of explore California, so.
Not a bad thing to do. How about sailing while it's snowing? What was that like?
Cold, extremely cold. Lots of layers. Never enough layers. It wasn't the best experience. I'd rather be sailing on a sunny day, obviously.
And over to Will for you, kind of the same question. You had to move ice to sail last year? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, not every sport has to do that. I think it's a big part of sailing that you kind of have to endure the environment because it kind of dictates how you sail.
Now, you put as position on the team skipper. What does that do?
Basically, I steer the boat.
So you are the captain, more or less.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Now, where do you go out and race? What water do you go on?
Well, we race on Long Island Sound outside of Norotan Yacht Club.
And who are the teams that you go up against?
We sail against Fairfield Ludlow a lot, Stanford a lot, Fairfield Prep every now and then. Greenwich is one of our big rivals, and Brunswick and Hotchkiss are big rivals of ours, but we don't race them as often.
A couple of the local private schools, and over to Chris now. First of all, for college, where are you going to go?
I'm going to go to Syracuse.
And they are smiling in the orange today, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
You're probably pretty excited with what you watched. We're doing this the day after the orange. Once the Orangemen, now the Orange, now going into the Final Four.
Yep, it was. I was watching the game all night. It was pretty crazy.
And it is pretty crazy, both the men's and women's teams making the Final Four. Now, you have a little thing you do before every regatta. What is that?
I always eat a bacon, egg, and cheese with hot sauce and potatoes from Mama's. Kind of just gets me in the mindset to sail, you know. It's definitely good comfort food and relaxes me a little bit.
All of a sudden, I'm thinking about dinner now.
I know.
You're a part of the crew. Now, we learned about Will being skipper.
Yep.
Is it just simple to say the crew does, what does the crew do?
So we sail 2-person boats, and the crew basically is in charge of a couple things. They're in charge of keeping the boat flat. A good way to think about it is they're pretty much in charge of everything except for steering the boat, right? So the skipper steers the boat. They kind of control the mainsail, but then the crew does everything else. So they do stuff like pointing out marks, pointing out opposing boats, controlling the secondary sail called the jib, and a lot of stuff like that. So
and communication has to be huge.
Yeah, it's really big for sailing. Yeah.
And is it hectic when you're out there sailing? Or is everyone yelling at each other? You got to have that communication. What is it like? Is it chaotic?
It's pretty chaotic. You obviously don't want to be too aggressive when you're sailing, but communication in the boat is really key. Probably more so than outside of the boat. It's really you talking, like the crew and the skipper talking always, and pointing out wind shifts and like directional situations.
Will, do other athletes and do other students kind of look at you and go, that's a pretty unique sport that you guys do? I mean, we introduced it as being unique and in a good way, but how do others react to it?
Yeah, a lot of people, even a lot of my teachers kind of just ask me, like, how do you competitively sail? Like, how does one person end up getting around faster than the other people? And it's really all the little things just add up to, it's a game of inches, really.
Obviously, it's not a sport, Chris, that you're going to look at it and go, "Well, Derek Jeter's my favorite sailor." You know, I'm not. I'm a big fan of the guy from Gilligan's Island. You know, the old TV show. What do you pay? Do you pay attention to, say, for instance, the America's Cup, which is the big race? Do you pay attention to things like that?
Definitely, yeah. High school sailing's different than that. You know, like I said, it was two-person boat, but it's the same type of racing. You know, there's you can really learn from watching any type of sailing. You can learn how guys kind of react in certain situations, how to read the wind shifts, stuff like that. So honestly, the same as any other sport. You kind of just watch and see how the professionals react. You can do the same with sailing, just kind of see how they take on every different situation, so it's pretty cool.
Well, you're all fascinating, and good luck, and have a great season out there. Sounds like a lot of fun. We found a way to work in Derek Jeter as a potential sailor, and we worked in a Gilligan's Island reference. I think we're good to go here at Darien High School, talking sailing here on the HAN Network.